Hey everybody, I just want to give a minute or two before we get started because it's not quite 4 o'clock yet, but I just wanted to let everybody have their time that they know they can get here, and we're just going to wait a few minutes. So have your questions ready. I do have the directions in the chat box. So what we're going to be doing today is I can read your numerology for the next year for 2021. I can also read tarot for you, which if you give me a specific question, and then we're also going to talk about world events and things that are happening in 2021. But let's give it another minute. Another minute. I'll give you a few more seconds so we can get some people here. So the rules, let's go over the rules, is that I want everybody to stay polite and kind in the chat. I am open to anything that we want to talk about as long as we can stay polite and kind and be respectful. If we could all understand that, that'd be great. All right. So, hey, Lightworkers, nice to see you again. A lightworker is somebody who is here on earth to spread love and kindness and show everybody else love and kindness that we meet, that we can just be in our life kind and loving and be a very good example of, light. And that's what a lightworker is. So let's get started. Again, I did put the directions in the chat box. But let's go over some guidelines. I'd like you to please stay respectful in the chats. I'm welcoming all questions, anything that you have to talk about, anything you want to talk about, spirituality-wise, 2021. You just type your questions in the chat box and I will answer them. Tarot requests today are going to be specific questions only. So the tarot readings are going to be done first come, first serve. I may not have time for all the readings. So a request doesn't guarantee a reading, but go ahead and put your request in. If I don't get to you, I will contact you about that to do a reading for you. I'm also going to be doing numerology, which is, I'll be telling you, looking at your birth date and seeing what the next year looks for you, 2021. And I can also tell you your life path and what you can expect this next year. Okay, so when I talk about probable events, this is a big, big deal right now, because when I talk about current events, I'm going to be talking about the probable events, meaning, 80% this is what's going to happen. Everyone talks about Nostradamus around this time of year. And Nostradamus, ever since 2001, does not even have a valid claim anymore, because in 2001, we switched timelines. So all of Nostradamus's predictions don't make any sense anymore. He was seeing the probable future, 80% back then, on a future that we did not go on. And I can go into that later if you want me to. Remind me later, I can talk to you about that. All right. While you're going ahead and putting your requests in, I want you to think about what you want me to ask, what you want me to answer. I'm going to tell you about a contest I'm having. So it's a 12-month free reading contest of tarot reading. I'll do your reading every month for free. It's $250 value. There's 3 different ways to enter. So you go over to Instagram, you can go see the details. But if you can enter right now by just subscribing to my channel right now and commenting in the chat box, subscribed, and then liking this video. And I'll add your name to my list of who has entered so far. And then head over to Instagram and find out the 2 other ways that you can enter. And all 3 entries are 3 tickets for you to try to win a free year of tarot readings from me. All right, let's see. What shall we talk about first? Do we have any requests? Oh, hey, Gail. Okay, since you're talking about numbers, does this mean anything? My bill today was 333. Hey, Lisa, how you doing? 3311, and when I got my car, it was 222. Yes. So when you're getting numbers like that right in a row, I get used to get bills. I don't know if my husband remembers this, but we used to have a bill that was like 44 every time we went out to eat. And that's when you have things like that right in a row, that just means that you need to be paying attention to what's going on in your moment, in your now. And if you are feeling any struggles, or if there's something really great going on, your guides are trying to pull your attention towards that. They're trying to say, hey, you need to pay attention to this. And if it's really good, that means you're on the right track. If it's not so good, then your guides are telling you need to pay attention to this and step back and make a decision that comes from love and ask the question, what am I supposed to be learning from this? Hope that answered your question there, Gail. Hey, Lisa. So I did put the discussions in the chat. So if you want to read your numerology, go ahead and put your date of birth in. I'll tell you what's coming up for 2021 for you. And also put in specific questions for tarot. And I can do that. And then in between, I'm going to be talking about what 2021 looks like and for the world. And I know we're all happy to see 2020 goodbye, but we're going to talk about what 2021 looks like, because we just need to be prepared for it. We don't have to be fearful. We don't have to be anything. We just have to be prepared with what's coming. Okay, so question in general, what about cutting cords? I take salt baths and cut cords once a month, but I should do it more. No, not really. At least you don't have to do more. What I would recommend, though, is that you have somebody, you hire somebody who's trained in cord cutting, because if we don't know exactly what we're doing, there could be a chance that we're cutting a cord not completely enough, and then we think it is, and then we still have struggle with it. So I would recommend having somebody who's trained in how to do the energetic cord cuttings, and you really only have to do them once to make it, you know, Gail had them done, I had them done. They really work. So I would recommend you find somebody who's trained in it. The person I use is Nikki Sutton, but she's not doing it right now. I can see if there's anybody else that she recommends, and I can post that later for you, okay? Gail, yes, thank you. What was that for? Oh, that helped you. Right. Okay. So let me get into 2021. I'm just going to start with the light stuff. Well, light stuff. For those of you who know me, like, I dream a lot. I dream a lot of things that are going to happen. And I've been having a lot of dreams about Taylor Swift lately. And unfortunately, Taylor Swift's mom, I believe, has gotten sick again. And Taylor is not handling it, or is not going to be handling it well. However, the outcome of this is going to be happening. And I send my love to her. I really wish I could get Taylor and her mom the information to my friend Melissa, who is now doing, she's a psychic, and she does spiritual counseling for people with major illnesses, so they can understand what they're doing, why they have the illness, and what they're supposed to be learning. So I really wish that Taylor would reach out to me. I can give her Melissa's contact information. I think my Melissa would really, really help her mom, Andrea, because I think her mom isn't doing that great right now. So I want everyone just to please, like, say prayers for Taylor and her mom, because I just keep having dreams about this, and I'm slightly worried. So just say some prayers, and if anybody knows Taylor out there, go ahead and give her this tape. I would love to get her mom connected with Melissa. All right, for 2021, what we're talking about is, I do not feel that 2021 is going to be as, heavy and negative as 2020. But let's take a step back and first talk about what 2020 was about. I mean, it was just one thing after another, wasn't it? One thing that, here's foolish me, thought it was going to be gone in 2 weeks, and it just kept coming, everything. And I think we're all just exhausted by it, aren't we? I mean, really, aren't we just exhausted by this whole situation, and we really just want it to go away. The thing is, it's not going to go away when this clock turns 12:01, 2021. It's just not. That's not the way it happens. So what I want you to understand is that this situation that we have is going to be going through us. And I feel about September of 2021 is when the downgrade is going to happen. Like, we're going to switch down into a more, it's not normal, but it's going to be like normalcy around September. But the thing I definitely want to say is that let's all remember the plague that is in the Middle Ages. Like, they got control over it, and we're going to get control over this. All right. It is real. We need to take precautions. We need to protect our body, take precautions. We also need to protect our soul and spirituality, and not fear it so much, because when we fear it, it comes to us. So you need to stay neutral about it, but also protect your body. But in the Middle Ages, that the Black Plague came out, and they got control over it. It kind of just went away, but did not go away completely. Like, there's still instances of the Black Plague even now. And that's how this is going to go. It's going to be taken down a whole lot. It's not going to be a world crisis anymore, but it's not going away completely. And it's there just to remind us that we can't fear things in the physical world, because that affects our vibration. And when we fear things, they come to us. We fear anything, it comes to us. Like, I have this total irrational fear of, like, a terrorist group and beheadings, and I have to constantly get that out of my head because I do not want that to come. So 2021 is definitely going to be a lot lighter than 2020, but I've also been being told for months, having dreams, I've been getting downloads for months about something that's going to happen in the next 2-3 months. It was like winter-ish. So, and what's going to happen is not going to be as large as what happened in 2020 with the wind. And remember, we're calling it the wind. We're not using the word. Um, Something's going to happen that's going to interrupt our grid, like our grid. You know how we're all connected in the banking world, the internet. Something's going to come up, and I really see like a solar flare, something like that. And it's only going to be for like a day, but the whole world's going to like freak out. So the only information that I've been getting is just make sure you're prepared, like have some cash on hand. But it's not going to be a big deal. Again, this is a test in fear. So when it happens, you do not have to have, don't have an emotional reaction. Just say, okay, this is what's happening. Here's how I'm going to go with it. And it's going to be over before you even know it. It's not going to be this long drawn out thing like we're dealing with right now. It's just another little test in fear that the universe gives us because we're moving into, anybody know this? We're moving into the 5D Earth, and 2021 is going to be a defining year. Those who are going into the new Earth, those are the ones that are real light and their vibrations are high and they don't really let much get them down. Those people that we all know who spend time fighting on Facebook, the people who like are really rooted into their like I'm right attitudes, they are going to be left behind, really. And they're not even, this is not an earth split. We're not going to know what happened. But when we keep our vibration high, we're going to end up moving into more of an existence that's more loving, and we're going to have more people have a loving existence rather than this what we've seen in 2020 where everyone's so angry with each other. Which tarot question, okay, I'll get to that in 1 second, Gail. Which brings me to what happened in 2001. Talking about timelines. So 2001 was a big year for timelines. So here we go. We had the Twin Towers get hit. And that was supposed to put us into a world war, all right? But what happened after that? Did everyone get angry? Did everyone start fighting with each other? No. Everyone came together in love and support and were shocked that this happened. So what happened was, because we had that reaction of love, we raised our collective vibration. And those of you who were around when this happened, please give me a thumbs up and tell me that you remember this. Like the feeling was just overwhelmingly supportive and overwhelmingly loving towards each other in the country. And that put us on a direct left turn. It put us on a better path. So all those Nostradamus things that you're hearing about today, they have no valid stance anymore, because he was seeing the probable future of the world war coming after the Twin Towers, and that didn't happen. We switched timelines. So all of these Nostradamus predictions that we don't know what they are anymore, you won't know what they are because they're not going to be on our timeline. All right, so tarot question. Will the house that I'm buying be a good experience for my family? Okay. I'm going to do a 3-card reading at first, and if I need to have extra, then I will put out extra. Okay, so far you got the Chariot, which is great. You're moving toward travel card. You're moving towards your future, your destiny, with lots of spirit and lots of good energy behind it. You need to focus on what's holding you back, like your emotions, your emotional. There's something about this that it's not buying the house because you're excited about buying the house. There's something emotional attached to this, Gail, that you are not either recognizing or you're trying to not to recognize. That's holding you back a little bit. So you need to re-energize and refocus before moving forward. There's plans. You're making plans. The plans that you're making to redecorate or redesign the house, don't do those emotionally. Okay, use your logic. Okay, and because if you do it with more of an emotional basis, because I'm thinking there's somebody else involved here, make sure that you're just logical about it and nothing is emotional, because your emotion, especially with buying a house, you want to stay very logical. If that answered your question, let me know. If not, I can add to that. Gail, what is your birthday? I can do your numerology while I'm on you. Sorry, I dropped a card. Okay. All right. Yeah, lots of renovations. What I'm seeing is you're going to have a lot of due to over these renovations. So I want you to just stay calm about it, and whomever else is involved, just make sure they stay calm and look at your endeavor as like an endeavor of love, and you shouldn't be fighting over that. Okay. All right. Somebody want to give me their birthday? Okay, there's Gail. Let anybody else want to give me their birthday, and I will tell you what 2021 has for you. Okay, so okay, Gail, so you're 2020. You just started your year 7. Okay, so in October, so you were born in October from 2020 to October 2021 is your spiritual growth year. Hey, mine too, so we can do this together. Spiritual growth year. So what's going to be happening is you're going to be learning a lot of things that kind of unprogram you from what you learned when you were younger. And it might throw you for a loop a little bit, but you have a whole year to do this. You have a whole year to get through the spirituality questions. I'm here too if you need me to help you. It's going to feel like you were kind of stuck in the mud, kind of like you can't get anywhere this year, but that's okay, because next year, your year 8, I look at it like a slingshot. So you're pulling it back. This is year 7. You're pulling it back, and you're back here, and you're like, I really want to go. Next year, when you have your birthday in 2021, the slingshot's going to let go, and it's going to shoot out, and everything that you worked hard for this year is going to come to fruition in really great space next year. All right. Oh, Hadelin, we're buying a house too. I'm afraid I will not be happy with the house. Will be good for us, and will I like the house? Okay, let me see what the cards say. Right now, my first question is, do you have a house already? Because I feel like there's a couple that you're not sure about. Like I feel like you're doing this back and forth, back and forth. Yeah, very vacillating. You're very much vacillating with this. Right now, my guides are telling me, before I even put the cards down, my guides are telling me that you need to, nothing's ever perfect. That's what they're saying to me. Nothing's ever perfect. So when you have, make your pros and cons, and just know that you need to make a choice that is never going to be clear cut. There's always, especially with buying a house. I mean, and I know about buying a house. We've bought a few, and then we've moved. So I totally know what you're doing. So make sure that you just aren't getting emotional about this, and you have, you're building and you have a house you're in. Just make sure that you're not looking for perfection. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, let's go. Okay, right now, yeah, it came out very stuck. You're very stuck. So let's see what your next cards say. Yeah, all 3 of those cards are talking about you being stuck, which is interesting that they all came out together. You need to reflect on the progress. So are you not wanting, it's not going fast enough for you? Is that what's happening here? Each person has a role. So this one's talking about each person having a role, and not doing things alone. Like you need to have a team together to make decisions, and clear action plan. 2 of Wands, choice, clear action plan. Let's see, a lot of changes. Yeah. And you're stuck not wanting to make those changes. I'm listening to see if anybody else is, I'm listening to see what else they're telling me. I keep getting this image, Adeline. I keep getting this image of like, just do it, go. Like you're just waiting. You're waiting for a sign. You're waiting. And what I'm seeing is like the waiting is what's holding you back. Yep, there we go. And yeah, you cannot decide. There's somebody else in this decision that you're out of sync with. So whomever is in this decision with you, I mean, building a house is not fun either. Just make sure that you're on the same page, and you don't have to be perfectly together, but just make sure that when you go through this, that you're moving forward in a kind of a lockstep, like you know what each other is thinking. I don't see it being bad. I don't see it being bad. What they're saying is that you need to just kind of move ahead. That was the shove. You just need to move ahead and make your decisions, and nothing's ever going to be a clear-cut decision. And that's just the same in life, right? Like, we can't make decisions that are ever just all good or all bad. All right. Lisa, what do you see for the rare Saturn Jupiter of this year? Okay. Okay, so that was, yeah, all of these conjunctions, all of these astronomy things going on, they do have a connection to what is happening right now. And just what I told you about how 2020 was a year that was definitely difficult to get through on several levels. This is bringing us a new, again, I said this morning on my other live, it was like, it's bringing you that fresh air. Like, we all need to know that, like, trust the universe, and nothing's going to be detrimental. Nothing's going to, like, completely decimate our world. That's what all of this is supposed to be teaching us, that we need to just be okay with all of it and just learn our lessons through it. Because as I said before, we have lessons to learn. If we get sick, if we don't get sick, if we recover, if we don't recover, everybody has lessons to learn. And, that sign from, the sky is basically just telling us that we need to trust the universe and stay neutral. If we can't be positive about everything, we need to not be negative. Just at the very least, just be neutral about it. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. This is bringing me to my topic about law of polarity, which I will get to. Any questions before I move on? What else? Let's see. Somebody asked me this morning, how do you raise your vibration? This reminded me of my friend Holly. Holly read this book, and it was about this woman who was on a spiritual journey, and she took a month off of, like, her life of work. And Holly called me and was like, how do you take a month off of your life just to work on spiritual stuff? And I'm like, yeah, right, So somebody asked me this morning and said, how do we raise our vibration? I mean, we still have, like, families to take care of, jobs to go to, laundry to do. And the thing is, it is better for us to raise our vibration while we're doing that, rather than taking time off just to focus, because that way we're learning how to put it into action. So let's say that you have, little kids at home, and, little kids make messes, and, you clean up. And when you get frustrated at anything in your life, so you see this mess, what you should do in order to raise your vibration is you're going to look, and before you get angry, before you react, you think, what am I supposed to be learning from this? And you think, how can I react to this from love? What is the reaction that I can have from love for this? Because that incorporates the law of oneness, the universal law of oneness, where we are love, we are all connected, and we should be coming from love. So when you go to raise your vibration, every single choice you make, if you face a challenge, you just ask yourself, what am I supposed to be learning from this? And you may not get the answer right away. I'm still waiting for a few, but you may not get the answer right away. But then you move on to, how do I make a choice with love? What's a loving reaction to this? You're welcome, Lisa. No problem. Lisa, let me do your year. 5, 10. Okay, you're 5. Lisa, you have a lot of changes in your life right now. So you, from May of this 2020 all the way to May of 2021, your life is going to be, my guys, they're like throwing leaves up in the air. That's your life right now. Okay. That's going to happen until, your next birthday in May of 2021. And then after your birthday, when you turn your next year in 2021 in May, you are going to enter into a year of family, a year of, I'm just feeling healing, nurturing, healing family things. It's going to be, do you know that feeling you get after it's a really hot day and you pick up, like, a glass of really cold water and you drink it and you're like, wow, that feels really good. That's the feeling I just got for you, Lisa. After your next birthday, so May of 2021, it's like a cold drink after a hot day. You're going to be refreshed and you're going to be having all this family stuff. It's going to be really good for you. Anybody else want me to do your 2021 numerology or have a tarot reading? I do want to talk about master numbers while we're on the topic of numerology. I will get to that in a second. I just want to make sure that I covered everything that I have for 2021, because again, it doesn't feel like anything huge is going to happen other than what I had mentioned before. Brad Pitt comes in my head a lot. I think he's going to be dealing with something with his kids, but I think it's going to be healing for him. I think he's going to be coming back together with one or more of his children, and that's been an estranged relationship, if I'm correct. And I think this year is going to be a really good one for him. And for some reason, they want me to mention that. Okay, September 30th. I will do that in 1 second. I'll do Adeline's number 2. Adeline, am I pronouncing your name correct? Adelinda? I don't want to mispronounce your name, okay? So just let me know. So yeah, I'm supposed to mention Brad Pitt for some reason. Like, he's going to be doing better with his kids. And then I had already mentioned Taylor Swift and her mother, who she's fighting a breast cancer, if I'm not mistaken, and it's not a good feeling. Like, people are struggling with that right now. Oh, good. Okay, so let's do September 30th. Okay, so that's 9, 3, 12, 16. That's a spiritual year too. So you'll be going in your spiritual growth year. Again, you're going to be learning more about yourself. If your birthday is on September 30th, you're going to be learning more about the universe, the world that we live in isn't actually. Now, okay, now everybody wants to talk about The Matrix. The Matrix was a cool movie, but it wasn't exactly accurate. But it gave us a good basis of what we're looking at. Okay, so a simulation's a great idea for here, but we're in a classroom right now. We're learning. So a 7-year for September 30th, you're going to be learning your spiritual lessons this year. You're going to be growing. So the next time you have another 7-year, you're going to be able to have another more deep lessons coming. So you're going to feel kind of stuck in the mud, kind of held back. Bob Johnson, I don't think that one's for you. I think that's for somebody who's very young. So I can tell you that they need to pace themselves with whatever's happening. So you learn your spiritual lessons through self-discipline. That's what my guides are telling me about September 30th. Okay, 7, 4, 5, 9. It's a 6. Okay, so Adeline, you're going to see a lot of, you're a number 6. Again, it's nurturing. You're going to be a family year. So your birthday was in September. So from September until September, it's a lot of family stuff. And I'm feeling like this family stuff wasn't good to start with, but it's getting good. And I think it all has to do with your reactions. So, I'm going to give you a pat on the back for that. So you're learning through family. And yeah, this move for you is directly connected to what you're dealing with within the family. And I don't feel it being bad at all. You just keep doing what you're doing. Remember to ask the question, what am I supposed to learn? And come from love, and you're going to be excellent. Next year is your spiritual growth year. Okay. Do you see the Queen of England passing away, or do you see a change in the royal family? Okay. Oh, okay. So this was interesting. No, I don't see her passing away this year. I don't. I see Prince Philip passing away, which makes me sad because he's like my favorite royal. Like, if I wanted to have lunch with anybody, it would be Prince Philip because he's awesome. What I see happening in the royal family is that Harry the Megxit started it. So, and I talked about this in one of the videos where Harry was living by default. And of course, he was handed a life we would all love to have, right? Here, you're a royal, you have palaces, you have everything you want. But he was handed that life. He was handed a life by default, and he was living by default. So when he met Meghan started to live by default, and it made her very unhappy. And she actually said to Harry, like, your job is not to just survive this life. You're supposed to be happy and thrive in it. So Meghan taught Harry how to live with purpose, which I'm getting chills. Like, this means I'm right on it here. So Meghan taught Harry how to live with purpose, and him leaving the royal family and the royal family not having much of thing to say about it, because if we remember what happened with, the Prince of Wales back in the 30s, and Fergie and Diana, you remember all of that? Like, it just, they didn't tolerate it. And I think it really has taught the royal family establishment about how the crown versus the life, family versus the crown, right? I don't see it changing. I don't see it changing at all. But I do see them being a little bit more open to, I want to say, common folk, even though they like to be seen as, higher up. I think they're realizing they need to come down a little bit. Okay. More questions? Anybody more questions? Let me see where I'm going here. I did have a question this morning about twin flames. I have a whole bunch of questions from somebody from Gaggy Gypsy Soul, who is probably sleeping right now, but she's one of my main supporters over in India. She asked me a whole bunch of questions about, the world situation. She wanted to know soulmates, twin flames, and karma. And what I want to tell you, let's jump into the twin flame situation. So twin flames have been told to us to be, opposite gender. We're supposed to find this one person that just random, needle in a haystack. We're searching around for this one person who may or may not have incarnated, who's our other half. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. So what a twin flame really is our exact opposite. It is part of our soul family. It may not have incarnated with us, but I'll give you the example of my twin flame is my best friend Holly, where she and I are exact opposites. Like, I mean, you wouldn't even look at us and be like, yeah, they're friends. We are exact opposites. Everything, the way we look, the way we talk, the way we act. But the thing is, we complement each other really well. And when she's struggling, she'll reach out to me and I will give her, support and advice. And she'll say, like, why didn't I think of that? And then when I'm struggling, I'll reach out to her and she'll do the same thing for me. And that is your twin flame connection. That's the connection you're looking for. And it doesn't have to be in a romantic relationship. And that's the same thing with soulmates. Like, I think it's so linear to be thinking that we were this one soul and then cut in half. And like, no, that didn't happen. We're all from source. We have soul families. We have soul groups. The soul families are not our biological families. They're people we have in our life, and there's people on the other side. So I want you to understand, with soulmates, soul connections, soul twin flames, you are not looking for the one perfect person. I mean, there's a lot of people out there you can love and who can love you, and you can have a lovely life together. It doesn't have to be that perfect person. Just keep that in mind, okay? As far as karma goes, karma is also very misunderstood. Karma is, where we think about it right now, is more in the sense of the cause and effect, the law of cause and effect. So whatever I do is going to come back to me. That's the law of cause and effect. That's not karma. Karma is the balance. We're bringing whatever we did in this life or in past lives, we have to balance it out in this life. So, if you were, I don't know, not speaking up in another life and that caused you major emotional harm and you weren't talking, okay? In this life, you are being forced to talk in some way, however you set it up, and you're being forced to talk, but you don't like it. You don't like it at all. That's a karmic pattern. A karmic pattern is very much something that makes us uncomfortable and we don't want to do it. But in order to clear the karmic pattern, we need to face it and get through it. That is what I help people do, by the way, if you want to head over on Patreon. Just to let everybody know, the new people, let you know, you can enter my year-long free tarot contest just by subscribing to my page right now, liking this live stream, and just typing in subscribed, and you will make sure that I put you in. You have 3 ways to win. So go over to Instagram to get all 3 ways. But if you want to enter right now for free tarot reading all year long, just subscribe to my page right now and type in subscribe and like this live stream. All right. And winners will be announced live on YouTube on January 6th. There's going to be 3 winners for that. All right. Let me see if I missed any questions. And I have another thing up here I'm looking at. So somebody's asking me about creating our reality and perception. And yeah, this has a lot to do with 2021. Thanks, honey. So I will put your name on my list of people who have entered the contest. So When we create our own reality, we really do create our own reality. And this is a perfect example of what happened in 2020, where everybody had this mass hysteria of what's going on, and we really don't have any clear answers, And disclaimer, I'm not saying that it's not real. I'm saying take all the precautions. Everyone, don't take this video down. I'm saying everything's fine. You wear your masks and do everything, hand sanitizer. What I'm saying is, when we create our own reality, is when we live in fear, we bring fear to us. We bring fearful situations to us. So in 21, we need to understand that when fearful things happen or challenges happen to us, we can't walk into it like, oh my God, this is happening. Just approach it without emotion and deal with it. Okay, because that's what the universe wants us to learn. We need to learn not to be so emotional about things and use our vibration in a positive way. Because if we use our vibration in a positive way, that is how you're going to be able to manifest anything you want. And I have a ton of questions about law of attraction. People always want to know how to do it. And your first step is you need to keep your vibration high and be positive about everything. All right, let's see. Any other questions? Yeah, I'm going to get to the law of polarity next. I see that. That has a lot to do with 21 too, 2020 and 2021. So the law of polarity has a lot to do with, and if you want to see the law of polarity in action, all you have to do is turn on the news or turn on social media and see everybody like fighting. Okay, but that doesn't have to do, like, we don't have to be fighting about anything like super serious, like spirituality or government or anything. It could be like apples or oranges. It could be which school you're going to. It could be which house you're going to buy. So the law of polarity, it's facing a difficult situation and you're so rooted on one side that you're unable to see the other side as being any kind of truthful. All right. And remember, we create our own reality. So we are making those other people being like untruthful when really they have their own view. So if we think about a seesaw, law of polarity means we're on this side and the seesaw is tipped. But if we're on this side, the seesaw is tipped this way. We need to be right in the middle. Okay, and balance. And the way you do that is when you face a difficult situation, you need to look at the situation from the opposite side and see what the other people are looking at. All right. And I mean, honestly, I think this election has been an excellent example of this because, in my opinion, there's just a lot of different Americas. Like, it's not just one, it's just a lot of different ones. So if you look from somebody else's point of view, you're going to see where their truth lies because they're not lying. They're living their truth. And if they would look from somebody else's side, they'd see somebody else's truth. And that's the law of polarity, where we're giving somebody else latitude in order, that conflicts with what we think. It conflicts with what we think. But really, we need to understand that everybody has their own truth. And in order to move along in the positive vibration and happy into the next year, 21, and honestly, I'm seeing it straight through 2028. All this entire change is going to happen. We need to start talking to people, start trying to understand them, start trying to be kind and polite. And that is what's going to move you further in your life. It's going to move you further in your life if you apply these laws, universal laws, and not get so rooted in, like, people just aren't lying to lie. They don't, like, people are trying to tell their truth. And if we don't believe them, then I can see them getting angry, right? I mean, there's a lot to this. I don't really want to get into the whole political thing, but there's a lot to this that is spiritual based. Lisa, question, do you see the people that are in the conspiracy groups in the US and other places breaking free this year? I see them staying I see them planting roots in the old earth and being very negative and pointing fingers at everybody. I mean, I don't know what to say. Like, conspiracy groups is just another way of like breaking the law of polarity. I mean, it's really hard to move along in life when you think that, others are just, the Illuminati and all of this. Like, it doesn't make sense unless you're willing to believe things that don't have any actual proof to them. Whereas when I'm talking about spirituality, we're talking about energy, and a thought is energy. A thought is in our mind and energy, and that is vibration, is energy. So that has some proof to it. All these conspiracy, I don't know. I kind of just look at them and chuckle and move along. quite honestly. Sorry. Any other questions? Numerology or anything for tarot? What was the other law of gender was interesting. I think that's going to come up a lot in the next 3-4 years, especially with these transgender, the August 1st. Okay, the August 1st. Law of gender is interesting. So when you think about balancing, and again, the laws are all about balance. When you think about balancing the law of gender, it means you're balancing the masculine and feminine. It means that, you're not too macho, excuse that term. And you're also not sinking into that like 1950s housewife view. Like you're balancing masculinity and femininity. And yeah, this is a whole another conversation to have because of things that are happening that are real and tangible, and people have views, and it all has to do with universal law, spiritual basis. So just remember, when we talk about the law of gender, we're looking to balance. We're not looking to go one way or the other. That's the same with all these laws. And I'm going to make a rider from all of this. I never judge anybody, and neither should anyone else. And that's where these conspiracy theories things make me chuckle, because everybody has their own path to walk. Everybody has their own lessons to learn. There are a lot of lessons to learn this decade, 2020, the decade of the 20s, a lot of lessons to learn. And the first one we need to learn is just not to judge anybody else for their choices or, some situations they've gotten themselves in, because they're learning something. All we can do is be there and be supportive of them, correct? All right, August 1st. So 8, 1. All right, so you're in a year 4. It's a hardworking year. So you started in August 2020 to August 2021 is a hardworking year. And what the message is just to relax and flow with it. Don't overwork yourself, because that's going to bring up another law called the law of rhythm. Because if you overwork yourself, you're breaking this law of rhythm, because cycles are a natural part of our life. So you are going to work hard, but then if you feel run down, it's better for you to sit and relax and just kind of rest and then get back to it. Don't power through. Don't push yourself through this next year. So next year, when you have your birthday in August, you have a major change in your life coming, and the energy is going to shift. So all of the hard work that you did is preparing for whatever that change is going to be. All right, more questions. Let's see what I had. More coming this way. Oh, right. This morning we talked about the victim. I'm going to quickly go over this again. While I'm doing this, how about you guys all tell me where you're watching? Where are you all celebrating from? I'm in the Caribbean, of course, at our house. But where are you guys all from? I'm pretty sure everybody in India is asleep. But if you're in India, I really applaud you for being on my live. So go ahead and put it in the chat box. I'm interested where everybody is. So when we talk about, somebody had asked me this morning a question of like, how can you tell us not to be a victim? How can you tell us to stop being a victim? And I totally get it. Okay, so I'm not telling you not to be a victim, because things happen. Trust me, I know things happen. So when bad things happen, that is when you're victimized, and you heal to get through that. You heal. You have to. Okay. After you're done healing, that is when you have the choice of if you are going to be a victim for much longer, if you're going to label yourself a victim, or if you're going to leave it in that spot and move on. And let me tell you, I have personal experience with this, that if you label yourself a victim, what you're actually doing with your vibration is sending it out and saying, poor me. This happened to me, and your vibration's going out, and the universe is going, oh, she wants us to match that. So she wants more of what happened to her. And I know you're all going, no, but yes, that is how it works. So after you're done healing from whatever happened to you, you have to let it go and get more of a positive vibe, or you will continue having bad things happen to you. That is just how the law of attraction works with our vibration. South Carolina. Awesome. Oh, I have lots of southern states. Love it. I love it. I have a connection to the South. I have no idea what it is. I have to say, I'm pretty sure I had a past life in the South somewhere because I'm like obsessed with who remembers that? What's that called? Not Gone with the Wind, the one with Ori, the North and the South. I'm like obsessed with it. Um, anyway, okay. So let's see if I have any other things to cover for 2021. Again, I'm going to tell you 2021 does not feel bad. It doesn't feel as bad as 2020 at all. It feels definitely a lot lighter. We're still going to have tests that come up, universal tests. It's going to be world events that come. Do not get afraid or do not get all round up in tension about it. Make sure, they're reminding me to make sure that you like and share this event while I'm talking. Your name lights up for me, so when you do that, I will definitely give you a thank you. Okay, so and let me move on. They're telling me to talk about because I talked about 2028. What's going to happen in the next few years? So 2021 is definitely going to be the separating year for spirituality. So it's kind of like you're on the boat or you're not. And when 2022 comes by, and then it moves into, that's when the veil of all of this spirituality is really going to get thin. And I remember Sylvia Browne saying that in about 96, when she said after the new millennium comes by, the veil is going to start to thin. When we get to the mid-decade of this, the 20s, the veil between the other side, the dimensions is really going to thin, and those who are open to it are really going to be able to use their power, use their empathic powers, use their psychic abilities, and be able to better their lives and learn more. Those who aren't open to it aren't going to realize it, and in fact, those who aren't open to it are going to attract the negative entities, like those shadow people everyone wants to talk about, who are only attracted to people with negative vibrations. So you keep your vibration high, and those shadow people want nothing to do with you because they think you're going to infect them with like love. Let's see. Any other questions? I mean, I can talk about this forever. My guides are reminding me to tell you that everybody is psychic, everybody. So if you're wondering, how do you do this? I do train, I do help people open up their psychic abilities, but everybody is psychic. Everybody is empathic. You just have to, first step is raising your vibration and becoming more positive. And the second step is trusting the universe, trusting what you're hearing and what you're seeing and what you're feeling. For example, again, I'm just going to use this example again, like my father-in-law, when he passed away, somehow his symbol was a red cardinal, and I just knew that was his symbol. So anytime that I see a red cardinal, which is quite often, honestly, I know he's around. And now that red cardinal symbol has turned into my psychic sign when I'm talking to somebody who's not in good spirits, who is thinking about like suicidal tendencies. I'll see a red cardinal, and that's when I'll ask them if something is going on. But you can you can use your abilities. You can grow your abilities. You shouldn't sit back in awe and look at people like myself or anybody else. You can get here. You really can. And the first step is, everyone's talking about the law of attraction. That is the first step, but there's 11 other universal laws we need to talk about. Let's see. Anything else? The environment and the earth. Do you see the Arctic ice melting before of an issue? Well, okay, so the earth always has a way of, okay, so yeah, we've done some things to the earth, and not happy. I'm going to go back into actually a lot of what Dolores Cannon talked about. So back in the days of like Atlantis, and when they, anytime the other side gives us information on how to improve our lives, we humans always decide, hey, this is really cool. I'm going to figure out how to kill somebody with it. So they take the information away. All right. So we're supposed to be using this information in order to help ourselves and help humanity grow. And one of these things is affecting the ice cap. The earth always, though, does correct itself. So I'm not worried about it because I know the earth and the universe have this relationship that it's never ever going to deplete. The earth is never going to be in a state where we're going to have to leave. The earth will correct itself. I mean, might correct itself over us, but it will correct itself because the earth is a living being itself. And that's what we need to remember. And when we say respecting the environment, I mean, it very much is a tangible entity, the earth. So, when you grow things, when you, knock down trees, the rainforest, all of that. I remember being like 11 years old and being devastated. The rainforests were being cut. I mean, I don't know if anybody's on here who knew me when I was 11, but yeah, I remember being devastated because I felt it. I felt it that the earth was just so upset about this. But the earth does correct itself. So I'm not terribly concerned about that one. Gail, my nanny's symbol was a butterfly, and my aunt messes with the electric. That's funny. Um, yeah, butterflies are big. Coins, I also mentioned this on my last thing. If you find coins, pick it up and it reminds you. If you look at the date, it'll show you somebody's trying to remind you of that date. Um, the electricity, your aunt has a lot of power. It does take a lot for them to come through to us. I mean, when people pass away, and I was one of these people, it's like, where are they? They're supposed to be able to come to us. Okay, so our um, our vibration level, our dimension is really, really heavy and it's thick. This body, it's like a body suit, is what they call it. The suit is really heavy, and everybody's very light in the other dimension. So it takes a lot for them to come down in order to communicate with us. So the fact that she can communicate with the electricity tells me that she has learned to use her abilities very, very well. Um, uh, Having animals and signs like numbers are much easier to get into our path. But of course, then everybody wants to know, what does this mean? I always recommend to my clients that when you're looking for a sign from somebody specific, just, make sure that you tell them specifically what you're looking for, but don't make it so specific, like, you want a purple Bic pen. Don't make it that specific. Just tell them, like, I'm going to go to this place today, and I really hope I can see that you're there with me. And at some point, something will happen. You will see that they're there with you. Um, let's see, what else? Yeah, I'm going to get back to this environmental issue because it is, and I don't want to tell you that, you shouldn't be worried about the ice cap melting. You shouldn't be worried about that. What I'm saying is that you need to understand that the earth is an entity itself. And also, this is where veganism and vegetarianism is becoming so popular, because the meat industry I see changing a whole lot in the next 10 years because of that. So we do need to take protection for the earth, for the animals, for our body, for our soul, for our spirits, because we're taught so much from we're little that, like, this is it. Like, this is it. This is our life. This is what we're going to do with it. This is it. But nothing further from the truth could be possible, because this isn't it. In the long span of our soul's life, this is our life. Okay. And that doesn't make it insignificant. It just makes it short. So, like, we're in like third grade right now, basically. We're sitting in a classroom in third grade and we're trying to learn things. Yes, that reminds me. Thank you. Thanking my guides for reminding me of this. So I have two kids who have special needs. Does anybody else out there have kids with special needs? I'm interested before I go into this story. I have kids with special needs, and I, number one, spent years feeling guilty because I kept thinking my genes were the ones that gave them this, what they have. And then I started feeling angry, like, what did I do in order to deserve to have to deal with all of this? Then when I started to go down my spiritual path, I realized honestly, this is so, like, people who choose to come down with a disability, people who choose to come down with any disability, not just special needs kids, any kind of disability that makes their life more difficult to live, are actually higher level beings. So if we're all sitting here in third grade, they're like in grad school. So they're teaching us more than we're teaching them. So it really changed my view on my kids when I realized that I'm supposed to be learning things from them, like patience, like, adapting to what they need rather than trying to fit them into a world that, wasn't going to really accept them. And where that led me was that my kids actually have a benefit, because of the way they think. I started looking down, like Einstein, Mozart, all these people, they all had like little autism is what it is. And the way they think gives them such an advantage over the rest of the world. So I'm actually quite excited to see what these kids are going to do. So remember that anytime you see anybody with a disability, I want you to remember that they're here to teach you, not the other way around. All right. All right, we have a few more minutes left. Do you have any questions? I'm ready to do tarot. There is somebody out there. Somebody's trying to talk to me. Hold on a second. I keep seeing a little old lady, and I keep going, you got to give me more than that, because like you can't just say a little old lady. Did somebody live with their grandmother? Somebody lived with their grandmother when they were younger, even for a short period of time. Grandmother's here. And she's just saying, good job. Good job. Whoever, if it is anybody, like, let me know and I can continue with this, but I can't really connect if I don't know who I'm talking to. Any other questions? Tarot reading, numerology, anything coming up in 2021? Yeah, your grandmother lived with, okay, hold on. She was little and frail and tiny. Cookie, and I keep seeing cookies. She's just here and telling me that you're doing a good job, and she's very proud of you. That's what she keeps telling me. I'm very proud of her. I'm very proud of her. Yep, butterflies. Yep, that's her. Okay, so okay, so she's telling me about this house that you're buying. She's giving me the nod. Yep. Very nice, she's saying. It's very nice. And it's going to be, she's saying, I know she's going to do a good job with it. So you're getting the thumbs up from the other side for that house. All right, let's see. I have a few more minutes. Let me see what else I have for, I wanted to go over master numbers. So when we talk about master numbers on numerology, when you work out you can work out your numerology date. So what you do is you take the date of the month, the day, and the year you were born, and that's your life path. You're welcome. That's your life path number. And if your life path number adds up to 11 or 22 or 33 before it goes down to a single digit, you have a master number. I have two kids with master numbers. Number 11, which goes then into a 2, is somebody who's not grounded. This is my angelfish. Hi, angelfish. Somebody who's not grounded, somebody who has so many good ideas, very huge ideas. They're very connected to spirituality. They have a lot of ability to be psychic themselves, which I know she is already. But they have no idea how to implement those ideas. Like, they don't have the tools. It's like, hey, let's go build this building, but I don't have a toolbox. Okay, that's an 11. They have a lot of fears and phobias. They're very fear-oriented, and that's a lesson they need to get through. So when you take 11 down to 2, and life path 2s are probably one of my favorite life path numbers, because I call them the aliens of the planet, because they don't know why they're here. They don't know why they fit in. They don't know how they fit in, because if everybody was a 2, they'd be throwing rose petals and rainbows and butterflies, and then they're here on Earth. And is Earth like that? Is Earth at all like that? So anybody with a 2 life path, you feel very uncomfortable with, your existence here, and you tend to become manipulated and programmed very easily. So a 22, I have a son who's a 22, who these are builders. So the builders don't have the ideas, but they have the toolbox. So they can build anything they want. They can make any of their dreams come true, and they will. Okay. What happens though is they become very rigid in, this is what I'm doing. You can't tell me how to do it differently, because this is what I'm doing. And a 22 goes down to a 4, and a 4 life path is extremely logical. My husband's a 4. This is why it makes me laugh. It's extremely logical. They're truth seekers. They tell the truth. They will, when they speak, it will be true. And annoyingly so, honey. Love you. But yeah, they're usually right all the time. So when you have a 22 and a 4 with a 22 over top of it, these people know what they're going to do. They're going to get it done, and they don't want to hear from you. So you just kind of stand back and go and marvel at them. The 33 is a master teacher. So if you add up 22 plus 11, you get 33. So they have all of the aspects of 11 and a 22. So they have the ideas, they have the toolbox. They also are very, very spiritual. They're master teachers. Their job is to uplift humanity with kindness and love and their vibration. And a 33 turns into a 6. So a 6 is somebody who is just in love with nature. They love nature. They love animals. Sometimes they prefer animals more than people. I'm not a 6, but I totally vibe with that. But an unhappy 6 will also be very controlling. If a 6 is not on his life path, he will be controlling to the point of almost abusive. If we go back to a 4, if a 4 is not happy, they don't lie, but when they're pushed into the corner to lie, they believe their lies, which is kind of scary. And a number 2, when they are manipulated and they're not happy, they become very mousy, when really a number 2 should be like a flower and very shiny and happy. They don't like to be confronted. They don't like to be told that they're wrong. They like everybody to come together and work together. Anybody wants me to give the life path real quick, I will do that. If not, it looks like Bob put all of my links together. If you want a one-to-one session with me, the links are right there. I also have ongoing Patreon levels that you can meet with me one-on-one, just you and me, and I can help you on your way to happiness. I'll help you on your life path. I do a bit of past life stuff. I help you with your karmic patterns, and I help you get out of generally, a lot of people that I help are in like a rut, and I help them get out of that. And it doesn't take very long, honestly. It does not take very long for people to, realize where they are in their life and how they got themselves there. Let's see. Anything else? I don't think so. Make sure that you've entered the contest for the free tarot reading, and follow me on Instagram and Twitter, okay? All right. If there are no other questions, I'm going to say goodbye and have you guys all have a great New Year's Eve. Thank you for sharing this time with me. I loved it. I love talking to all of you. And let me know. Wish me a Happy New Year, and I'll send you a Happy New Year back. Okay? Bye-bye.